Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to your 17th tutorial, I think it is. Basically what we're doing today is we're going to kind of work with those menu items. First one is we're going to create a toast. Basically this is a toast. It's going to give us a little display message for a couple seconds and disappear. And then also the other thing I want to show you is about some themes that we can use for our activity classes. And this is going to be a dialogue theme that we're going to use for this sweet activity. It's going to pop up, give us a nice transparent look for the outside of that, or basically for the whole activity that we just started up, and it's just going to have a little description of some text. Travis is the most awesome guy I know. If I was a woman, I'd want to have my way with him, and if I was a man, I would cook him bacon all day long just so I could hang out with him. And that, I didn't type that. That just came with like the Android SDK. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, that's basically what we're doing today. So first thing we want to do is create a new layout, and this basically that second activity that I showed you with the theme, we could use that as like a about us section for like a game or an application, and you can use that for like a button. You don't have to use it as a menu item, but I just chose that. So basically we're going to start a new layout. So we're going to go Android XML layout, and we're going to just say about.xml. Make sure it's a layout, and we're just going to hit OK. And then what we want to do is we want to have a text view. So we're just going to drag that in there, and we don't really need to label the ID. We aren't going to reference excuse me, we aren't going to reference it really for the ID here, but just type whatever you want in that little description. Make sure it's kind of long, otherwise it'll look not as awesome. But we're just going to save that. And there we go. Then we want to go up to our suite class and change it from splash to that activity we just created, which I called about. And then we're going to save that. This is going to be a pretty short lesson, but to get that theme for that activity class, because you've seen like a regular activity, it wasn't transparent, it didn't wrap the text like that, it wasn't sweet. But basically we can use some themes that Android gives us. If we go into the XML file, the manifest, the Android manifest, and we're going to find that new suite activity that we created last tutorial, and right here in the opening segment of the activity object that we just created, and before that little ending part, we're going to create a new little piece of code here to get that suite theme. And it's just going to be Android theme equals and in quotations we're going to do at Android style / theme dot dialogue. And that's something that comes with like the SDK, like I said, and we aren't going to have to do anything with that. So we're just going to save it, and now we should be getting that sweet, not dialogues, just dialogue, and capital D. Make sure like your spelling or your case sensitive there, and we're gonna save it, and then we should be getting a sweet. For some reason, I'm getting an error here. I think that's right. Is it theme? Alright, it must be uppercase T. Okay, yeah, it's probably uppercase T. For some reason this thing is lowercase, but yeah, now we'll get that sweet like transparency look, and it's just gonna be stealthy and sexy and everything. So that'll be good to go for that. And then our other thing we want to do is create that toast message, which is something new. So we're gonna go into our menu class. We're gonna go down to that section where I said I'd define it in the next tutorial. So basically, if our menu item ID is this, we want it to, do whatever we set up right here. And what we want to do is we want to set up a new object or a new variable, and it's going to be a toast variable. Again, Android or the Java won't recognize toast, so we're going to have to define that later. And we're just going to call this like display something. That's too long. Or I'm just going to say we're going to call it display. It doesn't matter. And then we got import our toast. And what do we want to set this equal to? Well, how we define this is we're going to just say toast.makeText method, and we need 3 things within our parameters. First one is context. We're going to say this. Second one is our text that we want it to do. We're just going to go blah. Yeah, that's what it's going to display. If you want to have a little message, you can do that. For duration, you may think it would just be like something like milliseconds, like we did with our sleep loop, but we can't actually use milliseconds. So we're gonna have to reference it from the toast class. So we're gonna have to do uppercase T and then toast and hit dot. And we have 2 choices we can do. We can do a short display or a long display. And since this is a pretty short text, we don't need the person to read it for too long. We're just gonna click short. And you can do long and you can check it out and see how it looks. And basically we set up our new toast. All we have to do is basically show it now. So we set up our toast named display, and we're just going to go display.show method, and there you go. Yep, so basically I just want to show you the toast and some themes that you can use for your layout. So I'm just going to check it out real quick. Menu button, open suite activity, got something looking like that, and then we're just going to go back and then menu, open toast, and there's our short display. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for giving me those thumbs up and subscribing and everything. You guys are awesome. See you next tutorial. Peace.